watching the award-winning GHS TV, Germantown Community Television, your hometown news and information station.
Welcome back. I'm Vince Perryman and you're watching Legalese. Joining us on our show is Linda Warren-Seeley. We are discussing Memphis Area Legal Services. Linda, I know a big issue out there is how do people that otherwise couldn't get legal help have access to justice? And the catchphrase for that is access to justice.
Right.
What's going on at the state level and the local level to help get the word out as to where to go?
Sure. Last week in Nashville, the Supreme Court announced their Access to Justice initiative. And Chief Justice Janice Holder, who's from Memphis, and she had announced some initiatives that the court wants to take to encourage attorneys to do more pro bono work through legal services agencies. Every legal services agency has an obligation to devote a certain portion of their grant to working with the private bar and private paralegals and law students to develop a core group of volunteers to supplement what we do. And I like to use as an example that Memphis Area Legal Services has 17 attorneys. We serve a poverty population of about 170,000 people. The public defenders serve that same basic population. They have almost 100 lawyers. So we're significantly understaffed. We take maybe half of the cases that call in. Most of the cases do get rejected. So we rely very heavily on volunteers to help us deliver legal assistance. The Chief Justice's Access to Justice initiative is focused on the court doing those kinds of things that they can do to encourage lawyers to do pro bono work. And that includes things like changing some of the rules of professional responsibility to permit attorneys to provide, say, advice and counsel cases without worrying about having conflict situations, to permitting corporate counsel who maybe aren't licensed in the state of Tennessee to do limited practice at advice and counsel clinics. There's also a rule that permits attorneys to get continuing legal education credit for doing pro bono work. Right now, for every 8 hours of pro bono work you do, you get 1 hour of CLE. They're hoping to change that ratio down to for every 5 hours of pro bono you do, you get 1 hour of CLE. The Chief Justice is encouraging mediators to do more pro bono work, and that's one of the services we provide through our pro bono project, which is what I direct. I recruit and I train the volunteer attorneys and mediators. We make referrals out to the attorneys of individual cases, and then we also try to connect people who need pro bono mediation services with mediators. Then I do annual reports to the CLE Commission about what people have done so that they can get the appropriate credit. And then there's also the Tennessee Bar Association, and Buck Lewis, who's an attorney at Baker Donaldson here in town, is part of his initiative is what they call the For All Initiative, which includes education and promotion of pro bono programs. And so he's been pushing a public day of service. So on April the 4th, one of the things that we're going to be doing is a variety of different kinds of clinics and educational programs and legal lines to provide free legal assistance to the community. We do a Saturday legal clinic. We do it once a month. We just did one out at Collierville United Methodist Church. There, generally what we do is we start at 9 a.m. and we end at noon, and anybody who wants to come in is entitled to talk to an attorney and get some advice and counsel. And then locally, David Cook, who is the former president of the Memphis Bar Association, has been very active in trying to promote advanced directives, that every person should have an advanced directive a healthcare power of attorney or a durable power of attorney, and then designation of a healthcare agent, because people, if they don't have that, they're not going to be able to get the kind of health care that they need if they become disabled and are unable to talk to their doctor. So we have initiatives both on the state and the local level to try to promote pro bono programs, and Memphis Area Legal Services has a fairly significant pro bono project and different kinds of things that we run.
And I know also the Tennessee Bar Association's Young Lawyer Division is doing a Wills for Heroes.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that they'll be doing on the April 4th Public Service Day as well. And I think they're also going to run one of their legal lines, which is a telephone call-in help program.
Okay.
So.
And one thing that in all of that you were mentioning with the public defenders and what you all do, and I think this is sometimes very confusing for people, is they think of, you know, Perry Mason or whatever and all attorneys doing everything, whereas you all handle the civil stuff.
Right.
And the public defender is handling all of the criminal.
Right. And there is a lot of confusion. There is a right to counsel in some criminal cases, not every case you're going to be entitled to an attorney. There is no right to counsel in civil cases. So if you're indigent or if you don't have enough money, if you can't afford to pay an attorney, your options are legal services. And then there's also the Community Legal Center, and they provide legal assistance to people who are working poor. But their services are even more limited than ours are because they don't get a big federal grant. So it's very difficult for people.
And as far as, so I guess you all really rely heavily with only 17 attorneys in 4 counties. You really rely heavily on volunteers.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We would not be able to, about a quarter of all of the cases that we run through our program are handled by volunteers. And we're really trying very hard to provide different volunteer opportunities to the attorneys to make it easier for them to donate to legal services.
All right. When we return from our break, we'll talk more with Linda Warren Seeley about Memphis Area Legal Services. Please stay with us.